Hi, everybody. It's Aley from Heart and Soul Connected, and I'm so pleased to be back with you here again today, where I do some of these shorter videos that just have limited talking points to them, but hopefully to get you to think or get you to think about how you can either change the way that you deal with them, or you can share what you have done to deal with them. Either way is perfectly fine. Please like and subscribe and leave your comments down in the show notes after the show is on, because it really helps with my algorithm. Thank you. So conflict resolution is something that we have around us all the time. It's a crucial aspect also of spiritual and emotional development, and it allows us to grow and learn from those experiences. Very few of us enjoy being in conflicted experiences. Most of us run from them. We don't want them. We don't want to have to get ourselves all upset and feel like we can't express the way we feel about something. So instead of doing so, we can move away from the ability to do them, thus only reinforcing the fact that we can't do them. So one or the other. So when we're in the midst of a conflict, it's easy to get caught up in our emotions and react impulsively. Communication breakdowns are very common, as I've talked about in another video about communications. Often we struggle to express ourselves effectively, and this can lead to emotional blockages, and it makes it even harder to resolve the issue at hand. And our emotions can be overwhelming, causing us to lash out or shut down and not have that clear and calm demeanor. Many of us can also be triggered by childhood experiences in which we have been told children are better to be seen than heard, or you're not allowed to say this, or don't look at me that way, or some of those things we were told. And it leads us to be very shy or timid about expressing ourselves to others. Fear of retribution, fear of retaliation, fear of losing somebody. Those are all very, very deeply seated in ancestral and trauma responses. And I'm not a psychologist. This is just something that I know myself. I have my own issues around those as well. Our emotions can be overwhelming, and these conflicts bring out our deepest fears and insecurities, which I kind of just said, making it a challenge to navigate the situation with empathy and understanding. Sometimes I know when I have 5 or 6 people ask me the same question after I've explained it, which I thought was really well, and this would be in a personal situation, not here on the show. I kind of get a little testy, and it isn't intentional. It just sort of happens. It's like, really? You need that again? And yet at other times when I'm prepared for that to happen, I often say, there is no silly question. You can ask as many times as you need to, because sometimes I feel that I have more patience than other times that I don't. So we also may feel the need to be right. I think we found that in conflict with people that have an opposite political affiliation or emotional affiliation, or even it could even be cultural. It could be hierarchical. It could be any of those things. We'd love to be able to win the argument or prove a point rather than seeking a resolution that works for everyone. And some of us don't realize that we are in a fixed mindset, and we are not open-minded to that particular thing that is being trying to be resolved. And sometimes that's because it clearly violates our beliefs or values. And it also brings a sense of distrust and non-understanding of why someone would feel a certain way about something that we feel is very, very important to us. As we navigate our conflicts, it's essential to recognize the patterns and the habits that hold us back. Pattern recognition is something that has been in the forefront over the last probably 30 years, where you're seeing how patterns develop, and you take those patterns and lay them over a long period of time and see which ones come up the most. And how is that being resolved? Or are you going to have that pattern happen again? We see that in historical patterns. We see that in economic patterns. We see that in patterns of people that will not get out of our sight, let's put it that way, that over and over and over repeat the same things. And oftentimes they are lies or gaslighting, and they're attempting to make us succumb to their will, which makes it really, really difficult for us sometimes. So the awareness is the key to resolving conflicts that promotes our growth and our understanding. And so that's why we have to step back and say, what was my part in this? What did I do that created this? Because it isn't just you and it isn't just me. It's both of us. And so learning those simple tricks of how you created that can also go a long way with helping you understand why it is that you create those situations in your lives. Mindfulness and empathy are very, very essential tools in conflict resolution, allowing us to approach the situation with curiosity and openness. By being present and listening to the other person, we can begin to understand their perspective and find some kind of common ground. This approach can help us to diffuse tension and create a safe space for resolution, or it could create a safe place where you decide not to come to a resolution, one or the other. When we approach conflicts from a spiritual perspective, we can begin to see them as opportunities for growth and transformation. By letting go of our need to be right and embracing a sense of humility and openness, we can begin to navigate conflicts in a more mindful way. This requires a willingness to listen, to learn, to grow, rather than simply trying to win the argument. Unfortunately, there will be a lot of people who will never understand this, and most of the people that probably will listen to this aren't the problem. Again, it is 50-50, but there are a lot of people out there that absolutely will not listen, or they listen, but what they get as a message is one that meets their particular needs and not the needs of everyone. And this is why we are having a difficult time trying to get people to come together, because there is an innate force that's driving many people that we are somehow better than the other. And that is called othering. It's saying it's us versus them. It's us and the other. And those others aren't probably going to hear the message, unfortunately. But you can know that that exists. And therefore, you can do your part not to step into the dog poo of what's going on. A powerful example of conflict resolution is a story of a couple on the brink of divorce. They were struggling to communicate effectively, and their conflicts had become more and more heated. However, through a commitment to mindfulness and empathy, they were beginning to see each other's perspective and find some kind of common ground. They learned to approach their conflicts with a sense of curiosity and openness rather than anger and resentment. And this can happen. It's a beautiful thing to be able to go to therapy with someone that you're having a difficult time with. It doesn't always work. Sometimes we're probably too late or too very different, but it does serve us to learn how to navigate those waters. This one illustrates the potential for resolution to lead to spiritual growth and transformation, and embrace the challenges and opportunities inherent that are presented by the conflicts that do come up, and then begin to develop a sense of understanding and more meaningful relationship with that person. The couples who worked together began to develop a greater sense of empathy. They learned to appreciate their differences and find common ground rather than trying to change each other. Because if there's one thing we can never do, it is change another person. We can only change ourselves or our reaction to that person. It all has to come from us. The shift in perspective can allow you to approach your conflicts with a sense of humor rather than anger and resentment. And it highlights also the process of self-reflection and personal growth that we can obtain in conflict resolution. There is a potential, there is a gem in that conflict that you can pull out in order to make your life better and to learn from your portion of what that conflict was about. You can examine your own thoughts, feelings, and behaviors and develop a greater sense of self-awareness. And I think we all sometimes have to be taken to the level of self-awareness, because a lot of times, unless we say to ourselves, well, I am part of the problem, which we are, and own it, then we can change our portion of it. But we have to remember, it isn't all about us. It's not all about us, and it's not all about them. Remember that. Every relationship is 50, at least 50-50. It should be 50-50. So allow yourselves to grow and learn from your experiences. Embrace your challenges and opportunities that are presented to you as tools of change and transformation in your spiritual world. Does that mean you'll never have another conflict? Does that mean you'll always do this? Of course not, because we are human and we do tend to walk down that road. But we can do it. It can be done. And we can develop a greater sense of awareness, compassion, and understanding of not only ourselves, but of the other that we are having the conflict with. Thank you for listening today. Please like and subscribe. Let me know how it goes, and have a beautiful day.